What am I looking for and what do I need? And what NFL franchises do we relate to, identify with? Are we maybe in a season of life where we realize we need to move on from something? We're kind of like Arizona. We're kind of like Atlanta, where it's like it's time to move on. It's time for a new direction. And so as we follow Jesus, he's the one who provides the freedom that we're looking for. And he's the one that empowers us to move forward. And so we have to ask ourselves, what sins, what mindsets, what relationships do we need to move on from? And to be, kind of inspired by that today. And then for others of us today, maybe we relate to an Anthony Richardson and Justin Fields because we're looking for that fresh start. And we're looking for kind of new life breathed into us. And for some of us, that means surrendering to Jesus for the first time and becoming a new creation and having a brand new life. Now, for others of us, maybe we're looking for a new situation, a new opportunity, a new scenario. But either way, we need Jesus to change us. We need that that fresh start, that second chance, that kind of new life breathed into us. And so for some of us, just that freshness, the kind of a new outlook. And so are we turning to Jesus for that deep life change? And so in 2 Corinthians 5:17, it says, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. And then in Ephesians 4:22 through 24, it tells us, you were taught with regard to your former way of life to put off your old self, which is being corrupted by its deceitful desires, to be made new in the attitude of your minds, and to put on the new self, created to be like God in true righteousness and holiness. And so do you identify with that it's time to experience that new life? And maybe there's something in your life where you're feeling a conviction about where it's time to move on. And God is pointing that out to you. He's encouraging you in that. And maybe you're kind of looking for some of that affirmation or that confirmation to say, it is time to move on. It's time to move on from that sin. It's time to move on from that relationship. And so for Tripp, as you kind of look at these first two categories that I've brought up, kind of what comes to mind for you?
Yeah, I think what you're naming there, Bryce, is this important idea of like spiritual awareness, spiritual self-awareness, right? That when we come to faith in Jesus, the Bible uses the most extreme language possible. It says you were spiritually dead and now you're spiritually alive. So don't go on being spiritually ignorant or spiritually asleep, right? Like, and so it is a really important and underrated skill and discipline of the Christian life of a follower of Jesus to just be able to recognize, where am I spiritually right now, and what specifically do I need from the Lord, right? I think a lot of us are probably nervous to ask that question. What do I need from God? Because we're afraid that we're going to go quickly to sort of a prosperity mindset of like, what's just the good stuff in life that I want him to give me? But if you're a follower of Jesus, it's a really important question to ask, where am I right now? And what do I need from him? Which is exactly why Jesus in the Gospels, all the time he would go around and he would approach people and he would say, what do you want me to do for you? What are you seeking? He would go to people who were paralyzed and laying on a mat and say, do you want me to heal you? Right? What was Jesus doing with those questions? Anytime in the Bible that God asks a question, by the way, he knows the answer to the question, right? The reason that he asks them is to engage us into to make us aware of what is going on. And so Jesus was always going around saying, hey, do you even know what you need from me? Do you even know what your heart desires and what you're seeking, and how I am the answer to that desire? Right? And so it's really important, Bryce. I think a lot of us assume that we know what's going on inside of us spiritually, but you do. There's a certain discipline. There's a certain work. It's a work that is not work, right? It's a work that is. Can you stop working long enough to say, hey, what's going on inside of me, and what do I need Jesus to do to me at a heart level? And so, yeah, this is a critical topic just to open our minds and our hearts to a little bit today.
That's right. And we're just looking at the parallel to, 4 or 5 different categories that relate to NFL teams.
Well, some of those things that you named are exactly the deep desires of our heart that we often don't know that we need. And so I love the NFL corollary of, do you need hope? Do you need a fresh start? And could you even, some NFL teams don't know what they actually need, right? And so many of us maybe wouldn't be able to name, what's the thing that I really need at a heart level from Jesus today? And so I think the connection you're making with this quarterback need question to what's the real heart need that you have is a really, really great one.